Canada, oh Canada, it's a make-believe state. Canada, oh Canada, it's great. Hey everybody, welcome back to the challenge. We're going to Canada today. Does anyone remember that song? I remember listening to that in like high school, junior high. We've got sleds and sled dogs, lots of lumberjacks and logs. It's great. Welcome back to the Daily Creative Challenge. Lots of familiar faces. Zana, Terry, Nick, Taylor. Hi, nice to see you all. Somebody posed a great question in chat a little bit earlier, and that was, what was your favorite stop so far on this world tour? Does anyone have any favorites of where we went or a lesson that you learned? Let me know in chat if there's something very special that you learned that you were excited about. There we go. Need to move my mic away a little bit. Welcome back. Hi, my name is Andrew Hockrattle. We're a little quiet today because there's a baby sleeping on the other side of that wall. So we're hanging out, and you can follow along right here. Hello, my name is Andrew Hockrattle. You can just call me Hawk right there. You can follow along on Behance at hawk.co or on any other social media. So you can check that out while we part ways. Oh, stay connected. So today we are going to be learning all about gradients, and because it's our last lesson, I have literally done every single way that I know how to do a gradient, and we're gonna get super crazy, so it's gonna be fun. People love Sydney, the mandala was super cool, loved France building the Eiffel Tower, absolutely. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some ways that you can engage and get involved with our daily creative challenges. Today is our last day, but they'll be back next week with a new set. And so you can go to behance.net/challenge/illustrator, and that is where you can get all of the information. You can watch if you missed any of the stops that we did on our tour. You can go back and watch these and catch up. A lot of people saying Paris, so I'm glad that you enjoyed that. We went around the world: Paris, Sydney, Melbourne, USA, Egypt, Brazil, New York, India, Canada, club, another club, no sleep, bus, another club. And we are wrapping up today in Canada. It's going to be the end of our world tour, which is exciting and a little bit sad, but don't worry, I'll be back in 2 weeks for a fall festival. We'll be doing some Halloween stuff as well as moving into November, doing some fun stuff for a fall festival. So something else I want to tell you about is Adobe Max is coming up October 20th to the 22nd. You can check it out and register at max.adobe.com. You can make your schedule, and who knows, maybe put my name in and hang out with me in my sessions. So have some fun, get involved with Adobe Max. It's free, so there's literally no reason not to. All right, so I think that brings us to the next point, which is you can get involved going to bit.ly/AI Discord. That's the place to be, where we are all putting our work and we are getting great feedback from our incredible mentor team. Right here, there we go. You can see that people are posting, so I want to see your challenges as you finish them and put them up. Our stream's still happening during Max, kind of. There are Adobe Live content that will be integrated into Max, and some Max chats that are extra content that you can check out. So you can see the full schedule at max.adobe.com and make your schedule to map it out. I believe they're called Max chats if you want to be a part of that. All right, so with that was a lot of announcements. Let's go ahead and hop in to our, oh yes, and the pre-conference. There is a pre-conference that's happening that you can register for as well. Wade, I didn't get you that link, but we will have it at office hours today. If you tune back in at 2:30 p.m., we'll be talking about the pre-conference where Nick Longo and I will be doing special sessions of Adobe Office hours. So let's go ahead and hop into our lesson today, since I have literally all of the things to cover. And for the last time, here we go. We are flying off on our very final stop, Canada. And you're going to see Niagara Falls here, but it's too cold there right now. So we decided to go up north and see the Northern Lights. All right, we're back and we're here. There we go. Let's just just even this out a little bit. There we go. Nice. So we are here and we are at the Northern Lights. So we're looking at a lot of things here, right? And what I want to notice is when we look at the Northern Lights, let's go this way, you can see that they're not solid shapes, right? It's not just something that you'd see in Illustrator that's like, oh, it's a clean vector. They're very organic, right? They're kind of moving and flowing. They're starting with one color and ending with another. The opacity is changing. There's all kinds of different things that are happening within here. And wait, are we having, what's the, oh no, oh, okay, got it. So we are continuing on and going to create the Northern Lights today in Adobe Illustrator. So let's go ahead and jump on over to our lesson right here. And in here is the source file that you can find, and it says that today we're going to create the Northern Lights using custom gradients, and of course, the sky is awake, so I'm awake. One of my favorite quotes. We're going to be looking at the Northern Lights, and we are in Ontario, Canada. Why not? I think the Northern Lights are there. I tried to do some research. So when we're looking here, we need to start out, obviously, if we are doing gradients, we need to start with color schemes, and we learned the other day how to pull a great color scheme. So I was browsing Reddit this morning and found this duck, and I was like, dang, that is a gorgeous duck. Like, love this duck. And so I was like, you know what? The color scheme on this duck is actually super cool for the Northern Lights. We've got some very dark blues. We've got some of these bright kind of highlights that will just be nice accents. And so I thought, you know what? Let's use the duck for the Northern Lights. So we're going to use a tool called Adobe Color right here, color.adobe.com. And to pull the gradients, we can literally hit extract gradient right here. And here, I'll replace that. So I literally have a cut of the duck in just a duck zoom. So I'm going to hit OK. And here is the zoom of that duck. And we're going to go ahead and put that up to 6. And from here, I can pick and choose the things that I want. So at some point I want this like nice yellow that's happening here. That looks great. Let's pull in some of this green that's happening over here. And then of course to this gorgeous blue that is happening. So we can drag these and make sure that we have some good variation going on. And wow, look at this gradient. Gorgeous, taken from this duck. So from here, we're going to name this duck. Cough off, Mark. All right, and we are going to add this to, sure, Colors Brazil, and that's what we used the other day. We're just syncing this to our Creative Cloud folder, and it's floating above us. Next, we're going to start with the most basic version of a gradient. I'm simply going to make a box, and from here, see, we already have it filled. This is from when I was practicing. It will fill with a color usually, and from here, we can go to the gradient tool over here and just click, and there's a bunch of defaults if we want right here. So we can do the sky 23. And that is looking great. There's a bunch of defaults in there you can explore that you can load in very, very easily. And in the rotation, you can click and rotate this gradient within this box. So it's basically just filling that shape with the box. You can move these points here to create and change around the points of that gradient. So maybe we want less of the purple, more of that kind of pink color. There we go. So super easy to edit and change those. The next that we can cover within a simple shape is a radial gradient. So we're going to click on radial gradient. And what that does is it starts in the center and it basically makes rings. A gradient is just transitioning from one color to another. So it's transitioning from this purple to the next color to the next color to the next color. And what you can do actually is on this last one, you can change both the location of how far it is on the left and right, as well as the opacity. So if we take the opacity down to 0, it is going to make it opaque so that it fades out really nicely. So this is great if you are using a circle, right? And it has that gradient. It creates that nice little soft edge, so it kind of flares out. So gradient, super powerful with simple shapes. The last one, we're going to wait for just a second and we'll go to it. It's called a freeform gradient. But first, we're going to bring in that gradient from our Creative Cloud library. Let's go ahead and open our library and find our Brazil colors. There we go. And we have our duck palette that's happening here. Let's go ahead and, where's the button that I want to do? Add to group, duplicate. Oh no, why can I never do this? y'all, I completely messed up on our gradient. That's fine. We'll use default gradients for now. I can't remember how to get it through. See, here's me trying to teach you. So the next one is our freeform gradient, and we'll just use this one. Freeform gradient, what we do is we actually place points. And I like to think of these as water balloons. So we can double click here and put in a point. So maybe we want some blue over here. And think of it as dropping water balloons from above. When it hits the ground, it explodes and creates that color glowing in that way, and they start to blend together. So just think of it as water balloons with food dye in it. So we can create some great gradients by just dropping in points, and it will start to blend these together for us. So maybe we do a green up here, and that is looking just gorgeous. This looks like some nice Microsoft Word art. And this is looking amazing. So now we have a freeform gradient, right, with little dots kind of exploded out. Now next, I want to create kind of the wave of the northern lights. So we're going to continue on with the next kind of thing that I want to show you how to do. And that is taking the gradient, and we have our shape here. I'm going to go to Effect, Warp, and I'm going to pick any of these. So this will probably look bad. Just grab whatever one you want, and we're going to use flag. And what that does is it's going to actually warp this into a new shape. So we're going to hit OK. And now we have it warped into a new shape. We're going to go to Object, Expand Appearance, and now it is expanded. We can come in here and apply our freeform gradient. Why are you not expanding? Man, today's oh, it's clipping. All right, we'll release the clipping mask. There we go. And now we can apply our freeform gradient, y'all. We are having a rough time today. There we go. Now we can come in and apply our freeform gradient by going to the gradient tool and starting to drop on some points. There we go. Hooray! So now we can drop on our points, and we'll actually use this in reality to do a base layer for our northern lights. So now we have this little kind of wave, and actually, yeah, let's do that, and then one of these purples kind of going around here. And what's nice is if we want to, we can drop in some right here, and we can change the opacity to 0. And it's actually going to start knocking out some of these edges. So if we want it to be kind of that northern light, kind of wiggly wideliness, we can grab this and grow it out, and it's going to start pulling these, there we go, to be a little bit more opaque in some areas. Pull that up nice and big, and we'll hit 0. And now when you look at the shape, right, you can see that it's flowing and becoming a little more see-through each time. Oh, yes, Tom, your daughter's name is Sky. That's awesome. So it's becoming a little more see-through each time by dropping those water balloons for our gradient that are opaque. So let's put this one to 0 as well. And there we go. So now we've got some opaqueness kind of flowing through, some really cool stuff playing around with these northern lights. Now, the next way that I can show you how to do this is with blending modes. And we're going to incorporate blends as well as blending modes. So check this out. I'm going to go ahead and make a line here. This line I'm going to fill with blue, or sorry, stroke with blue. So it has blue. Let's put sure, a 20 pixel stroke on it. And we're going to come over here to our stroke panel and hit round curve. So we're going to round the ends right there. And what we're about to do here is basically say, hey, Illustrator, I want to create the northern lights, but I want it to start at one color and one size, and then come all the way over here to another color and another size. So let's do this very dark blue. And let's actually take this to like a blue-green. There we go. Yeah, cool. So we have these two, and what I can do is select these two and just hit Object, Blend, Make. And what that's going to do is it's going to make a smooth color between one and the other. This is one way of making a gradient, super easy to use to create that gradient, and it's actually making it out of different shapes. So what I want to do is I actually want less. I want to create a gradient that goes over amount of steps. So I can go to Blend, Blend Options, and change the specified steps to like 50. Let's see what happens there. There we go. Let's actually pull it down even more. There we go. So let's do 35. So we hit OK, and now it has a gradient within these steps. And I can take this and I can change it to maybe soft light or overlay. Let's do soft light. Why not? So now we've got kind of this northern light, kind of there is some substance there, but we need it to follow the curve, which is a problem. So right now it's just blending from one to the other. I want it to follow a curve. So what I'm going to do is grab the pen tool, and I'm going to kind of just follow the curve a little bit of what's happening here. So those are a little bit rough, but that's all right with me. We can grab those. So I'll just use the pen tool to click and drag out. And from here, what I'm going to do is select this line, right, this path that I've just made, as well as this blend. And watch this. I'm going to hit Object, Blend, Replace Spine. And what it's going to do is instead of going from one object to another, it's going to go from one object to another, changing that gradient color along the path that we just created. So now you can see it has replaced that spine and it is following along to create this really cool effect like something is hitting the atmosphere. So what we can do right here is actually grab this side, the further side. So it's saying start at this object and then transform into this object. And right now, the only thing that's different is the color. So check this out. Let's go ahead and scale this down. There we go. And then change the stroke maybe to 2. There we go. That's looking cool. So now we have, again, it's following the path, but it's shrinking and changing to what this other shape is. So this is a great thing that we can come in here and maybe change this to overlay one more time. And now we've got this cool kind of glow happening on the overlay, right? Very, very fun. And with something like this, it does look too close. And so what we can do is start to blur this out. So we can go to Effect, Blur, Gaussian Blur, and it's going to start to blur this. And if you want to, you can blur it out a lot. So you have a little bit of that texture laying on top. So from there, what we're going to do is we're actually going to blur this out as well. There we go. So we've got nice blurs on both of those using those freeform gradients. What is it to scale again? It is S. S is the key for scaling. So we've got some awesome stuff there. And I want to do maybe a burst of some kind of unevenness. Maybe it's a shape that's going from one side to the other. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and draw here. Actually, I'll show you how to do this with warps. So we're going to grab a rectangle. And here we're going to go to Effect, Warp, and we'll just pick Arc for now. Let's fill that with a color. We're killing it today, y'all. There we go. Let's go ahead and fill with a color right there. And from here we're going to Effect, Warp, and pick any of these. And now we can see, and I think the one I want is actually fish. Yep, and so it's going to create it as a fish shape. And it can go vertical, it can go horizontal. I want it to bend the other way though. There we go. So we're going to have, will the lines eventually go away? Yes, if you keep blurring, the lines will go away and just turn into kind of a blob. So now we have this, which is what we want, and we're going to apply, let's apply one more effect to it. Let's see if this works. Let's do it. Let's go to Effect, Warp, and let's go ahead and add a flag to this one as well. Ooh, that looks cool. Why not? And with this one, instead of just doing a gradient, I want it to feel like it's kind of swooping in toward you. So what I can do is I'm actually going to make a gradient that starts with one and then ends in another color. So right now it has all of these points. I'm going to go ahead and start it in a nice blue. There we go. Oh. See, I have it on the stroke. I keep doing this. There we go. Here, there we go. So we can edit individual colors here. We're going to start with a nice blue. Sure, go to that little color right there. Kind of fade to a little darker purple. And from here in each of these, I'm actually going to start changing the opacity. So this one, I'll maybe go to 80. And then this next one, I'll maybe go to 60. Then maybe in this next one, which I want to be kind of a bright pop, let's do this bright blue. Actually, let's do white. Ooh, let's do it like a gray. So this one, maybe I'll go to 40. And then this last one will be full on 0, so that it will kind of fade out on the side. So now you can see that it is growing starting with one color and slowly fading out in opacity. So again, this is one that we can round out these lines, make it a kind of a wobbly wobble, and then come over here, we can change the opacity, we can blur it out, which is what I'm going to do, is just go to Blur, Gaussian Blur. There we go. Now I've got this blur kind of following along. And from there, I'm going to change the blend mode again. You can kind of play around with these with multiply, overlay. These are the ones that will lighten. So overlay, soft light, and hard light will lighten and kind of bring the colors out more, whereas multiply will actually bring them less. So let's do something like that. Ooh, that's looking cool. And then another one of these, let's do kind of around this way. There we go, to just make it super organic, super fun. And let's change this one to hard light. Why not? Ooh, I like being able to adjust the opacity of the gradient. Yes, I agree. Being able to kind of pull it in and out. So now we have these awesome kind of northern lights that are flying through. Here we can even blur this one out if we want more. I actually want it to be super blurry. There we go. So a little bit of dimension, but still keeping it very blurry on the gradients. And the great thing is we can actually go back and change things. So right now, this is all kinds of crazy, right? It's a shape that's been rounded, that's been blurred, that has all these effects, but we can still go in and augment. This color is actually too bright for me. So what I'm gonna do is come in here and just change it to a little bit of a different color. There we go. So that it has a very kind of gradual feel. And again, with this, you can come in here and adjust the opacity, bringing it down quite a bit. So what I want you to do is, yes, really great for frosted glass, really, really great. What I want you to do is play around with all of those different kinds of gradients. I know we covered a lot. We have radial that starts on one side, we have directional that starts on one side, ends on the other. We have radial that starts in the center and grows out. We have freeform gradients that are like water balloons exploding. We played around with blends, starting with one color and ending with another. And the blends also, we replaced the spine to follow along a curve. So lots for you to explore during this time. And hopefully you can explore, make something new, make something creative. This is a good question, but once this means you'll still keep this as a vector. So technically it is a vector with raster effects. So it is a vector with raster effects. And how did I get rid of the lines? I just blurred them out, applied a blur to that path. And the great thing is, because this is a blend, it's still on this spine. If I want to, I can come in here and adjust, and you'll see this back one kind of adjusting along with it. Maybe I want it to go all the way over here. We can continue to adjust that with something that is growing. And yes, it's just effects that are added on top of each other. And this technically is a raster image, even though it has vector elements. So the shapes are vectors, but the effects that we're applying to them are raster. So with that, and actually, let's not cover that. We have 2 minutes. So you can play around with this. You can create your own designs and your own version of the Northern Lights, and then put it right here, bit.ly/AI Discord. I want to see your stuff in there. We will be going live tonight to do a recap of all of the challenges. We're going to hang out and talk about what we've learned and take a look at some of the amazing work that's coming in. So I would love to see what you create for the Northern Lights. Again, there are no wrong answers on my streams, so I'd love to see maybe a version of the Northern Lights that happens at sunrise. What does a version of the Northern Lights look like during a full moon, right? Things that you couldn't really see. What does the Northern Lights look like on Mars? Play around with different ideas. There's no wrong answers. Create anything you want that you feel represents you and something that you learned. And so in the last minute, let me know what you learned during these creative challenges. It has been an honor to hang out with you for the last 2 weeks. It really has been super fun. And I'll be back in 2 weeks to do another set of daily creative challenges. But thank you for tuning in. Thank you for participating. These are always my favorite part of the day. If you want one more little taste, we are going live tonight again at 6 p.m. Pacific time, noon Sydney time, to hang out and do this stream for the Australians and New Zealanders down there. So if you missed anything, you can catch up right here, behance.net/challenge/illustrator, and watch all the videos from the past, get all the source files, and hang out. So stay tuned. We have some great content coming up right after me. Don't turn off that channel just yet. Stay tuned to Adobe Live for great content today and all week, weekdays. And on the weekends, why not? Hang out with some Behance streamers. Go hang out with them, follow some Behance streamers, and support local artists. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great time next week with your new daily creative challenges. Bye.